So today we are going to discuss about the types of cells, how many types of cells are found. So according to cell theory, we read that all the organisms are made up of cells. So these cells may be one cell and these cells may be many cells. If the organism is made up of a single cell, one cell, then it will be known as unicellular organism, and the cell will be termed as unicell. There are many examples of unicellular organisms like amoeba, paramecium. Some fungi are also the example of unicellular organism, many alga. These all are the unicellular organisms. And if there are multiple cells, more than one cell, these organisms are known as multicellular organisms. The example of multicellular organisms are so much in the world: human being, plants, animals, and some fungi are also multicellular, some alga are also multicellular. So there are lots of examples which we can correlate with the multicellular organisms. So prior discussing about the organizational level, we will discuss about the cell structure first. The cell was discovered by Robert Hooke, as we know, and we also studied in our last lecture. So the living substance that was recognized in the cell, that substance was named as protoplasm, and every cell has one characteristic feature, that it is surrounded by some membrane. Robert Brown discovered a rounded, small ball-like structure in the cell, in the center of the cell, and he named this structure as nucleus. So what is important here to be discussed? The important part is, due to the presence of this protoplasm and this nucleus, the protoplasm has been divided into two parts. One is ectoplast and second one is mesoplast. Ecto means outer. The protoplasm which is found outside of the cell, which is found aligned with the cell membrane, this is called ectoplast, and the inner one will be termed as mesoplast. What is the quality of this mesoplast? Mesoplast contain all the living inclusions. All the living inclusions. What are these living inclusions? These living inclusions are living bodies like cell organelles, these cell organelles like mitochondria. If it is plant cell, then chloroplast, ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, and many more. So, this is the characteristic feature of this protoplasm, that it has been divided due to the presence of this nucleus. The protoplasm has been divided into two components, ectoplast and mesoplast. So, this is the plasma membrane, and if it is a plant cell, then this plasma membrane will be surrounded by a thick layer of cellulose, that is called cell wall. This is the structure of a cell, on the basis of which we can divide its organization, and we can say that it may be of 2 types or 3 types. Now, we are coming on the types of cells. So, on the basis of certain characteristic features, on the basis of some characters, these characters are presence of cell organelles, presence of biomembranes, complexity of the nuclear material. These cells may be of 2 types. What are these 2 types? These 2 types are prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes, pro means primitive, karyotes, karyon means nucleus. Primitive nucleus bearing cells are called prokaryotes, and the organisms who bear prokaryotic cells, these are called prokaryotic organisms. Prokaryotic organisms or prokaryotic cell is in existence about 3.5 billions ago. So, these are about the prokaryotic cells. Examples of prokaryotic cells are bacteria, blue-green algae, commonly known as BGA. It is also known as cyanobacteria. Viruses. Viruses are connective link between living and non-living world also. Prions, virusoids, mycoplasmas, rickettsias. So, these all are the examples of prokaryotes. Now, we will discuss a little about the prokaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells have very simple type of organization, as we discussed that the type of biomolecule will also discuss about the cell. So, the cells, biomembranes are of very simple in organisms of higher organization, the biomembranes are made up of lipid and proteins, but in prokaryotic organisms it is variable. The cell membrane may be made up of different type of substances. In bacteria it is made up of peptidoglycan, and in some other organisms they are made up of other substances. It is variable. The most important is the presence of the cell membrane or plasma membrane, because we are discussing about the prokaryotes. So in the prokaryotes only cell membrane is found, cell membrane is present, and inside the cell membrane, as we discussed, that these cells have these cells are primitive cells, and these cells have primitive type of nuclei. So what is this primitive type of nuclei? Here we can see that this is the nucleus. This nucleus is surrounded by this is a double membranous structure, that is called nuclear membrane. Inside the nucleus one rounded structure is also found. This is called nucleolus, and this is the nucleoplasm. In two nuclei, if all the three components of the nucleus are present, then it will be named as two nuclei, and the cells will be known as eukaryotic cells. In the prokaryotic cells, this nuclear membrane is found to be absent. Just because of the absence of this nuclear membrane, the overall content of this nucleus will get dispersed with this, will get intermingled with this protoplasm. So that's why the cells are known as prokaryotic cells. So in this prokaryotic cells, the nucleic acid or the genetic material will be found in the form of a circular lobe, and all the cell organelles were found to be absent. No mitochondria, no chloroplast, no endoplasmic reticulum, nothing would be present here. So only genetic material will be present in the form of either DNA or RNA in the case of viruses, but if we are drawing the bacteria cell, then DNA and RNA both will be present. So in spite of mitochondria, bacterial cell have some finger shaped projections like this. These are called mesosomes. So these are responsible for the process of respiration.